Good afternoon. I'm Gerald from the International Journalism 4th class grade, and today we have an interesting guest who came from the United States of America. The reason I'm saying she's interesting is because in the last century, as you know, the American movie industry has been prevailing in the world movie market, but what sets Sayndli Mklоид apart is that she's not a blockbuster movie director, but she's an independent filmmaker, and her film Asylum has nominated for the Academy in 2003 for the category of Best Documentary Short Subject. And after Asylum came her second documentary, The Seeds of Time, which released for the first time in 2013. So, Ms. Mklоид, we are going to start our interview about your film Seeds of Time. So, what do you want the audience of Mongolia to take away from this film? What do you want them to understand from your documentary?
I think that when they see this film, they'll realize that the developed world has made a lot of mistakes when it comes to agriculture. That industrial farming, I think, could possibly be our undoing. That right now in the United States, we're trying to go back to smallholder farmers, and there's a movement that grows daily to support small farmers and get away from big agriculture. And Mongolia is in a transitional place right now itself, and even though it's a very difficult climate to grow things in, as the character in my film says, there will be winners and losers in climate change. And so I'm wondering if Mongolia might be a winner in the sense that it will get warmer here. Therefore, you'll have a longer growing season and it will be easier to grow things, not harder. I hope that's the case anyway. So I hope that the Mongolian audiences can look at agriculture in a different way than they may have been taught. And think about the future maybe in a different way than they have been in terms of how they're going to feed themselves and how to approach agriculture in a more sustainable way. You're nomads, you've been nomads, so you know how to live with nature. This is a lifestyle that you're moving away from, but you have that ability sort of in your hard drive. So it would be great if you could sort of show the rest of the world how to do that.
So your film was released 3 years ago. Do you think any change has occurred, especially in America, from the public and from the government?
I think that that climate change in the last 3 years has been pretty widely accepted by the American public. It would be pretty hard for it not to be. I think something like 80% of all the counties in the United States have had a weather disaster in the last 10 years, or an extreme weather event. So that's definitely changed, and I think that people are starting to become more connected to their food and more interested in where their food comes from.
How appreciated is the American movie industry of female filmmakers, since there are not really a lot of filmmakers in the industry?
I think that the American film industry is getting a little more nervous about the fact that there's so few women. They're making more noise about, having more women, but I think in the Directors Guild, it's still only 5% women, something like that. So they're making a lot of noise, but nothing's changed that much so far. We're not going to hold our breath.
Okay. Could you name your favorite female filmmakers?
This is the hardest thing for me. Okay, let's see. All I can think about is like Barbara Koppel. She's a good filmmaker, but she's not my favorite. Who's my favorite? Who are some women filmmakers? There's the woman who won the Oscar. Huh?
Sophia Coppola?
Or Catherine Bigelow?
Catherine Bigelow. Mostly my favorite filmmakers are women that haven't won Oscars. There's the Australian woman, Jane Campion. Jane Campion is a very good filmmaker. I really love her films. And there are a couple of documentary women, but who are they? I was just telling Nestor I'm going to make a list next time when I have a quiet moment, because people ask me this question and I panic and I can't remember. There must be one. Kirsten Johnson made a very good film this year called Camera Person. She's a cinematographer, and she made a film about being a cinematographer on documentaries. It's really interesting.
I've seen from the internet that you have created a role in the film Variety. So how does working in front of the camera affect your profession as a filmmaker?
Yes, I did a film called Variety in 1982. I starred in it. It was made for German television. I was in the Screen Actors Guild at the time, and I never thought anyone would see the film, so I wasn't paid SAG wages. It went to Cannes. It got a distributor and opened in New York and LA. And for 15 minutes, I was a movie star. I really didn't like it. I didn't like strangers coming up to me on the street as if they knew me. And so I decided that way of life really wasn't for me. And I took myself out of it. But the thing that I really enjoyed was acting is really challenging, and to put yourself in someone else's shoes like that and try and imagine what it's like to be that person is really fun and interesting. And I learned how to work with actors as a director, things that I never would have thought about if I hadn't had that experience. So it was a good experience.
Do you have your own filmmaking philosophy?
Let's see. I guess my own filmmaking philosophy is try it whether you think you can do it or not, and persist.
So if a stranger in the street comes up to you and asks, why do we need to watch documentaries when we have blockbuster movies? Why do we need it? What would you say to them?
I would say that the world is too big to only be looked at through the Captain America lens. That there are interesting stories in unlikely places, and that we can appreciate one another more if we open ourselves up to those stories.
Because you're an independent filmmaker, I'm curious about, is there any tension between the independent and the Hollywood movies?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we're almost operating in different universes. We look at them and maybe are envious of all the money that comes their way, but they look at us and we have all the freedom we could want. So I think in the end we're happy to be in our own individual corners.
Okay, so last question. What would you like to advise for aspiring documentary filmmakers?
I would say that when you're thinking about what you want to make a film about, to really feel passionate about it, to know that you're going to have to spend a lot of time with that subject, and so it needs to be something that you can really sink your teeth into, something that you really love, and something that you can sort of immerse yourself in, that your curiosity won't tire from.
Okay, thank you for the interview.
Thank you.